Look at the street, guys. I think it's pretty cool. Out here in Koreatown. I guess the symbol represents Korea. Now, where is the entrance? Let's see. Cake house. So I did a Google search this morning and trying to figure out where should I go today. I think, you know what? I think it's this way. That would make sense because the address is on Olympic Boulevard. But yeah, I did a Google search trying to figure out what places I wanted to explore today. And this is one of the malls that came up. So, because I've never been out here, like in this part. I mean, I think I've been like through Koreatown, but I never been to this mall. And so I discovered that they have a Koreatown Galleria. So let's check it out, guys. Let's see. Wow, everything is in Korean language. Interesting. First thing you smell is food. And y'all know I am hungry. So it's perfect timing for me. It's like 3 levels. So I think I'm gonna grab some food first, you guys. But while I do this and while I take you guys around this mall, I want to talk to you guys about, oh look, the Christmas tree. I want to talk to you guys about like dating a guy who works at McDonald's, because there's a post that I just recently shared on Facebook. And it was a meme, and it was like, would you date a guy who works at McDonald's? And I said, only if he owned it, right? But when you think about it, it's something, that's a good question. It's something to think about, right? Because I think a lot of times we are quick to assume things without really getting the full picture of what it really is. And I'm thinking, like, who's to say, let me put the camera around. I'm thinking, like, who's to say this guy is just doing it just temporarily, and let's say, who knows what he's going to become later, you know? I mean, so what, he works at McDonald's, right? Okay, I got to get some food first before I can finish this, so I can think clearly. Korean barbecue. Y'all want to see what they got out here? It smells like seafood. Now, I was talking to this girl on the bus, and she was like, I was asking her, because she lives in Koreatown, I was asking her, like, what's the food like out here? And she was like, I guess, she was like, it's good, but it's exotic. And so she usually sticks to what she knows, but I'm like, I want to do something different. That's the reason why I decided to come out here. And I like how they have outdoor seating. I might actually go sit outside and talk to you guys, but yeah, about this topic. I don't know what I'm going to eat, because I don't know what I'll be eating. Now, my first cousin, my mom's sister's son, who I actually grew up with, he did some time in the military, in the army, and that's where he was stationed. He was stationed in Korea. And I'm not sure if he was stationed in North Korea or South Korea, but I know he was stationed in Korea. Hello, pretty good. Oh, great customer service.
Spicy pork barbecue.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Okay, pork barbecue. I don't think I want pork. Probably chicken. Okay. Chicken teriyaki. What is this hot spicy chicken stew? What does that taste like?
That one with potato, carrot,
Okay.
with vegetables.
I think I may try that.
Number 11.
Yeah. I think I'll try that. Can I get it to go, or you guys only make it for here?
Yeah, you can make it to go.
Okay.
You want to go or eat here?
Let's see. To go. I like your plates though, so I don't know. I'm kind of confused. Maybe I'll get it for here. Yeah.
If you after you left, you pay 25 cents with the container and you can to go.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I'll need the container, so we'll see. All right, let me set you guys. Does it come with something to drink? No.
The water cup.
Okay, can I get a bottle of water? Yeah. Look, guys, they actually have. So what are these? Is this music?
Pastor.
Oh, it's like sermons?
Sermon.
Oh, okay. I like that. It's cool. Okay. Put you guys there.
$20.25. 안녕하세요. 삼겹살 김치볶음 있어요. 있어요? 있어요. 김치, 무구지 고등어 있어요. You like a brown rice, white rice?
Yeah, brown? Yeah. Yes. Ooh, it should be delicioso. Cause I'm hungry anyway. How y'all doing, by the way? What's going on out there in Facebook land?
She make it wrong. She make it, yeah, mushroom. Let's try that one. Oh no, no, only pork.
Oh, check out their menu,
Will
guys.
be a little, it's the same price, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't think she would like it. She wants that one.
Korean Galleria.
Yeah, we came all the way from San Diego. She wanted it.
All of it looks the same, though.
Okay, then I'll come back.
Thank you.
Your water?
Okay.
Takes 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay, thank you. Have a seat here so I can talk to you guys. So, yeah. It's really ethnic out here. Pretty cool. Koreatown. And y'all, we gotta build our Africa town. Put you guys there. What's going on? How you guys doing? So yeah, about dating a guy who works at McDonald's. I was like, yeah, so sometimes it's like hard to tell. You know, you can't really jump to a conclusion and assume that just because a guy works at McDonald's, he ain't no good, he don't have his life together. Like, who knows? He could be doing it for an experiment. He could be doing it temporarily. Like, who knows? And then this guy who works at McDonald's could possibly go on to become this very high-paying, well-paid CEO, like, of a major company. So it's like, who are we to judge? But I guess the first reaction is just, no, I would not date a guy who works at McDonald's, because it's like, okay, why are you working at McDonald's? We know McDonald's don't really pay that much. But again, that would be an assumption. That would be, so you just never know. That would kind of be similar to saying, okay, would you date a person who takes the bus, right? And granted, I take the bus, but people don't know. Like, even my professor, he said something about this in class in terms of a cultural consideration as counselors we should take into account. That some people who are poor take the bus, so it could take them longer to get to your appointment. So that could be the reason why they're late sometimes. And if you just assume that they're late because they don't care about the therapy or working on, their goals, then you can totally miss the client, right? And misinterpret, their behavior. when it's not, in fact, they don't care. It's just that he says, like, they're poor because they take the bus. And so when he made that statement, I'm like, even that is an assumption in and of itself, because that's assuming that people who take the bus are poor, when you got all kinds of demographics who take the bus. People who are well off, who are well paid, people who are low income. You just can't tell, you just can't assume like you know when you just don't. So I think that's pretty interesting, because I'm like, I take the bus and people probably think that I'm just dirt poor, and I sit next to millionaires. Now granted, I'm not a millionaire yet, but it's people whose incomes are well into the millions who take public transportation. And just people, I think they go into their assumption mode and just assume that everybody take the bus is poor. So that is kind of similar along those lines of assuming that just because a person works at McDonald's and they ain't no good, or they ain't got their life together, and they poor, and it's like, shit, you never know, you be missing your match. And it made me think, that post made me kind of think about, just generally speaking, how like women, including myself, I'm guilty of this. Like, we set our bar pretty high, our standard pretty high when it comes to dating a man. There's a lot of men that we just don't want to date, or we kind of exclude from our dating preferences, and you just never know, could be missing the mark. Oh, I know what I want to say. So speaking to the idea of this guy who works at McDonald's, I mean, from a socio-political point of view, one can argue that when black women maybe should lower their standards, because considering the social context, a lot of African American men struggle, you know, economically to secure a financial stability. So that's something to consider. I mean, if you want to be socially and politically conscious, then you wouldn't just say, okay, I'm only going to date black men who got a lot of money or got well-paying jobs, when you can be missing really good men. Like, you can just be totally missing a really good man that's going to be faithful, that's going to be family-oriented, that's going to stick by your side, if you just assume that, okay, he has to be making 6 figures. And it's just like, not necessarily. I mean, you know, and if you, like I said, want to be socially and politically conscious, then you would maybe consider that. Like, okay, maybe a guy who works at McDonald's could be the one for you. And it would be respectful towards the African culture and the African, like our situation. It would be more considerate to take that into account, to not just dismiss these black men who, let's say, struggle financially, because we know there's racial discrimination, you know, within the workplace. And we know that black men are targeted more by the police, so they may have a criminal background, you know, because they're targeted. Not to just excuse it and say, okay, we just make excuses for black men who, you know, struggle financially or don't have an education. No, because I feel like if you work hard and fight through the racial discrimination, then yes, you can achieve great things in life. But I'm just saying, I think it's important to be socially aware and conscious. I mean, we say that we're conscious, right? But to really be conscious, it would be to apply that consciousness to many different aspects of your life, which would include your choice in a mate. You know, who you are attracted to, you know, factored by your standards and how you choose your preferences for dating. So I think that's something to think about. I'm like, let's see. I guess that would be something to consider. Take into the context. Because just going based off, okay, do a guy work at McDonald's or do you not? You never know. I mean, that might just be his only option. He might be a super good worker. He might just be saying, okay, I'm going to work super hard, work every day, save up. He might be working like 10-hour shifts, pulling a whole bunch of dough, because that's the only job that he can get, because everybody else is discriminating against him, maybe because he has a felony on his record, right? And so he works really hard and maybe is able to bring in, I don't know, let's say $3,000 off of McDonald's income, right? And then he keeps saving, and then let's say he's living in low-income housing because he's not making that much money, and not only that, but he plans to use the income from McDonald's to start his business, which he projects it will open, let's say, within the next 6 months to a year, right? So he actually has a game plan for how he's going to elevate himself and use this lower income, you know, of working at McDonald's to take himself even higher. So I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think, right? Like, guys, would you date a girl who works at McDonald's? Women, I know a lot of women say they wouldn't, but then interesting enough, some women on the post actually said that they would consider dating a guy. And then I think one woman said that she married the guy that works at McDonald's, which is her husband. Her husband, she said that she met years ago, worked at McDonald's. So you just never know. I mean, never know. People work at McDonald's just as a temporary type of situation, and they move on and do great things, can own businesses and be bringing in a lot of dough, right? So a man who works at Mickey D's shouldn't be even open to dating. He should be focused on building a foundation that a family can stand firmly on. Too many families struggling already because there wasn't a plan in for children. Okay. But I get what you're saying, not to be focused on, let's say, starting a family because you don't have the proper income in place. But what about just dating? I mean, you can date without starting a family, right? I think, is that mine? But yeah, that's my thinking. Is like you can date, right, without starting a family, you know. And maybe, you know, it's like I think we try to put so much control on dating, like when you should date, when you should marry, when you should have kids, and I feel like that's something that nature should decide, you know. I really do. I don't know. And I think that nature does decide that, because that's why you have a lot of younger kids that are having babies and people look down on them, but I kind of don't, because I'm like, that's just nature now. Granted, they don't have the proper resources in place to maybe support that baby, but in a ideal society, right, they would. If this was an ideal society where everybody had equal access to resources, then they would, and it would be good, and it would be like the village kind of thing, where it takes a village to raise a child. That's really how it's supposed to be. But where's the village? The village is broken down. The black community has fallen apart. So that's the issue there. But yet, nature still takes its course, and these girls and these little, young boys are getting together and just responding to their own natural instincts to become attracted to each other and procreate. I mean, that is what we're designed to do as human beings. That's only natural to do that. So I'm thinking even for adults, black people who are struggling financially, I know a lot of people say, oh, you don't need to have kids, but that's just nature. It's only natural. And then for people who are born in those kind of dire situations where, let's say they was born to parents who are very low income, living in the projects, and people judge their parents, right, for having babies or whatever. But a lot of times those kids grow up to do great things, right? Like those kids end up becoming the people that we idolize because they were able to rise above adversity, rise above their limited circumstances. So nature don't help pay for college. But yes, college is not necessarily the end-all be-all. You have many millions of African Americans who have college degrees and they don't have a job. So I think a lot of times that's just a misconception. Like, it's a fallacy to believe that college is just gonna get you the life that you always dreamed of, when that's so not true. It's not true. my book actually talks about that. So at the end of the day, like, I'm more of a person, I'm all about just family, the tribe, the community, sticking together. It's not all about money, so to speak. I mean, yes, you have to realize that, yeah, we need money to survive, but we have community, we can still survive. I mean, you got people that are surviving on little to nothing because they have learned how to develop a community network, the tribe, you know, to depend on for survival. So there's many different ways you can look at this, but I know Western philosophy, you know, in America has taught us that you need to be making 6 figures, you need to have your house, your 2-story house, your white picket fence, and life insurance, and all these, you know, materialistic things in life to be happy and to live a prosperous life, when a lot of times that don't guarantee happiness. That don't mean you're going to be prosperous. You have all of those materialistic things and still be unhappy. In fact, when you go in the hood and impoverished communities, you see a lot of smiling faces. I mean, yes, you see people who have anxiety, who may be depressed, but a lot of times people aren't that way too. They're happy and they've learned to cope and survive and make it through that because they have to redefine what it means to be happy. I mean, yes, in our greater social context in which we live in, our society tells us happiness means that you have to have a huge bank account, but for them, they've redefined it and said, no, my happiness is not dependent upon that. You know, as long as I got Jesus, or as long as I have my family, you know, then I'm happy. Let me go check on my food, but that's just something to think about, you guys. Those that are born in and make it out of the projects and become great are the minority, not the majority, unfortunately. I don't know if they're the minority, though. You may say they're the minority, but you have a lot of people do that. I mean, just think about the black people who... Is this mine?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so I'm going to have to put you guys... Let's see.
Do you need the box?
Not right now, I guess.
Okay.
If I do, I'll come back. The silverware is on here, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go outside. I'm trying to do like a lot at once. Thank you. Oh wait. You know what? I'm gonna need both hands. It's pretty heavy. I'm not going that far. I'm coming, you guys. I'm just putting my food down. I have to show you guys this. This looks really delicious. I'm coming. Oh yeah. Now, let me see. Can I describe what I'm eating here? So this was the hot spicy chicken. This is all Korean food. This is brown rice. This is, I guess, some type of soup. And I don't know. I know this is broccoli, but I don't know quite what this is. So we will find out. Give me a second, guys. I want to take a picture because, man, this looks pretty good. Take a picture of this. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. So let me get to your statement. Yeah, I'll say, like I was saying, I don't know if that is quite true. You're saying that people who are born in the projects and make it out, they're the minority, but you have a lot of black people. I mean, just think about generationally, that's our reality in life. Like, we were born into, a lot of us was born into nothing. We're descendants of slaves, but yet you see a lot of African Americans are rising above that, are owning their homes. So to say that it's a minority, I don't know. I would have to say that maybe more and more African Americans are actually succeeding at that. She didn't give me I guess guess I'm supposed to use these sticks. I don't know how to eat with these chopsticks, but I'm gonna use my spoon. But yeah, I think more and more African Americans are actually making it out of poverty, and that's a great thing. Let's see, just visiting my grandmother who still live in the projects, and I see the same faces I grew up with there. I don't despise those. Yes, I'm gonna see how good it is. So, but yeah, you, Christopher, also you are in New York, so that might be I might be a little bit different being in New York. And then that's another thing. I mean, considering the cost of living in New York City, like people ask me how's New York, right? And like what is it like? And you know, it's a nice neighborhood versus the hood. I'm like, I kind of look at all of New York as the hood, even the so-called high-end neighborhoods like in Manhattan. And yeah, the cost to live in that particular building, let's say in Manhattan, right, maybe like $4,000 for a studio apartment. But overall, I'm like, New York is the hood. That's how I look at it. Like, that shit is the hood, because you got people living on top of each other, and just, I mean, when you kind of compare the quality, so to speak, of living in terms of the size of space that you have and all of that, you know, and the noise level and all that kind of stuff that people kind of, these luxuries that people value that live in suburban areas that have much more space. I mean, that's kind of, people would say that's the hood. I hope I like this, y'all. This was $20. Let's see, this rice look kind of good though. He packed it too. Okay, yeah. This is chicken, spicy chicken and potatoes. Oh yeah, it's spicy too. You say you don't do spice? I love spicy food. Ooh. Okay, it's actually chicken on a bone. This thing is high. Yeah, a lot of New Yorkers also are moving out from, like, native New Yorkers moving away from New York and have moved down to the South. So I think a lot of black people are on the rise, man. Contrary to what statistics will try to show us and try to make it sound like black people just at the bottom. I don't know. I'm surrounded by black people. I may have several friends, colleagues who from the hood, you know, whether they from Florida, my hood, or from South Central LA or New York, but they went to school and they making up the ladder and are doctors and lawyers and got decent income. So you have a lot of that. Maybe it's not probably what you exposed to, because if you live in a certain neighborhood, I guess in New York, but go certain places. I mean, definitely, like Atlanta is one where you'll see a lot of black people. Those black people who living well in Atlanta and driving these nice cars and got these 2-3 story homes, brick homes and stuff, they wasn't born into that. They worked hard to get to that point. They'll tell you, like, they grew up in impoverished communities. So a lot of black people rising above their circumstances. This soup, I don't know what this is, y'all. What is this, y'all? I feel like this is like seafood or something. I don't know what I'm eating. Is it live? Or no? Somebody who's watching this, tell me what the hell is this? Now, what are these? Anybody know what this is? This is Korean food. What I'm eating. feel like it's gonna wake up and snap. But I think that's good news to know. I love this plate of chicken. She asked me, do I want to, I don't need a box because I know I ain't gonna eat all this. This is good. I'm surprised it's only $20, y'all. I think it came up to like 18 without my bottled water. And y'all, this is a business. This is good. I'm glad I got this place. And I think what made me stop at this particular place as opposed to the other ones is because she actually spoke to me and she was like, hi. And then she saw I was looking at the menu, and obviously, I'm not Korean. Obviously, I'm black. And so she started to read to me what the items were on the menu, like customer service. And so good customer service gets you customers. And good food gets you return customers too. But a lot of these places kind of look the same. The name of the place is called Food Picnic Day. I guess Food Picnic Day. Oh yeah, y'all. This is delicioso. I know it's gonna read backwards, but that's the receipt. It's good. Yeah, you got families that come together actually. Men, like I said, man and a woman come together. They struggle and broke, and they're very resilient, and they fight through it, and they doing well, man. They rise above their circumstances together. That's what you call black power couple right there. So be both broke as fuck, but fall in love, start a family. You still broke as fuck, but you still rise above it. You work through it. You fight through whatever obstacles, and you survive and you make it. I don't know what this is. This is cold. I think this is like the cold plate here. Y'all can see. Show y'all. I got food. Okay, so this is like kind of cold, I guess. Let's see what this is. Oh, this is good. So you can't let the colors fool you. Y'all know what this tastes like? This tastes like, the purple stuff tastes like cantaloupe. It's like, it tastes like fruit and it's sweet. Yummy. I like it. Now this, I don't know what this is. Let's see. Ew. That definitely tastes like something out of the sea. Okay. And then this, y'all, this is a business right here. A spicy chicken plate. So I recommend this place. Right. Yeah, back to my point. What y'all think though? I don't know. I think I'm probably gonna finish this. I'll try to eat as much as I can, and I'm gonna come back to you guys in a few. Man, they probably don't have forks. I'm gonna ask them, like, y'all have a fork? So it looks like all of the pieces of meat are drumsticks. I usually eat white meat, but it's good. The seasoning, they really put their foot in this thing. Put their foot in it. Alright, y'all. Catch you guys later. But drop your comments below. Y'all tell me, let me know. What y'all think about that? Would you date a person who works at McDonald's? Sometimes you can't judge a book by its cover. Alright, love you guys. Bye.